And ever since I started doing this, the amount of work that I've been able to get done on my business and in that process of working on my business to make my business better has gone exponentially better. Welcome to the Ryan Wright Show, where we talk about what we learned yesterday that we can apply today so that we can be better tomorrow. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. What's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday. I hope everyone is having an amazing weekend. And for those of you crushing your entrepreneur journey on a Sunday, I salute you. I have been asked by several different people what my routine is and just how I stay focused and what is my routine. And so I figured I would just make a quick episode about that, especially because actually within the past few months, my routine has changed, and I think it's changed in a way that is very much serving my business. And so I'll just kind of share with you guys some of the things that I do in the event that it's helpful. And so let's kind of go right in. First and foremost, one thing I do, and I think I catch a lot of flack about this from a lot of people, but I've learned to tune out the flack. But literally every day, I go to bed at the same time, and mostly including weekends as well. I am usually in bed asleep by 9 p.m. every day, and I acknowledge that a lot of people that may be boring, or I don't lay in bed and watch Netflix really, or we have our routine at night with my girls, and we eat dinner together, and we go give them a bath, get them in bed, and then usually my wife and I go to bed shortly after. And just going to bed at the same time every single day has very much served me, because then my body doesn't need to adjust every day to something new, and I can wake up at the same time every day pretty much and feel normal. And I think that's something that has served me very well. I've done it for several years now. And I acknowledge there's a lot of people out there that sounds boring, and that's fine. I think it depends on what you want, right? That's what I do, and that's what works well for me. And again, mostly that includes weekends. My wife and I, we had friends in town this past weekend, and we left their house shortly after 8 o'clock so we could come home, and I think we were in bed and asleep by 9:30 on a Saturday. And honestly, it was excellent. So that's one thing I do every single day, mostly including weekends as well, as I go to bed at the same time. The second thing that I do is I get up at the same time every day. Usually I wake up at 5 a.m. Sometimes I'll actually wake up before then if I wake up without an alarm. But usually every morning I'll wake up at 5, and I just have so much time before typically anything else is going on throughout the day, before meetings start, before calls start, before my phone starts pinging, and I can just get done whatever it is that I want to get done. And I have just found that waking up that early every day has served me, and I think I've been able to do that because I go to bed at the same time every single day. The third thing is during that time frame, and this is what has actually shifted for me over the past couple months, and so I'll talk about this for a second. But between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. every day, what I do during that time is I do deep work on my business, right? And so I have found that it's a time frame where I don't need to feel like I'm working in my business, or I don't get sucked into my business, because again, there's no meetings, there's no, my phone's not ringing, nobody needs me because the world hasn't started yet. And so I have found that I can focus on whatever it is that I want during that time. And so now what I do is I get up at 5, I make a cup of coffee, and I literally just get straight to work. And typically the night before, I'll kind of determine what it is that I'm going to be focusing my time on that next day. And doing that deep work for a consistent 5 hours, and sometimes I can do it for more than 5 hours, but typically around 10 a.m. I'll meet with my sales team and just kind of get everybody going. But having that time in the morning to do deep work between 5 and 10 has been instrumental in my business, and I've very, very much enjoyed it. And ever since I started doing this, the amount of work that I've been able to get done on my business and in that process of working on my business to make my business better has gone exponentially better, just because when I wasn't doing that, it was hard to work on my business because it was easy to get sucked in. And so what I used to do during that time is I would wake up and I would read, maybe I would meditate a little bit. I would go to the gym first thing in the morning, and that was all fine. Like, I think there was a lot of things that I was doing during that 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. time frame that were serving my body, like whether it was mental or physical conditioning. I just found I haven't sacrificed any of that mental or physical conditioning. I'm just doing them in different times throughout the day, or maybe do it at night before I go to bed, in terms of like reading, for example. And I'm still able to work out. I've just kind of shifted when I work out in the day. But just waking up and going straight to work has been instrumental, and having that period of like 5 straight hours where I can do whatever it is that I need to do, and I focus on that deep work in the business has very, very much helped me. And in terms of like defining what the deep work is that I'm working on, what I have found that's helped me is I'll ask myself, like, what is my current constraint in the business? And that's kind of how I'll determine what I'm focusing on, right? And so if I need to, enhance onboarding and training for this specific seat, or I need to do that for another seat, or whatever the current constraint is in my business, is mostly what I'm spending that time on, 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. And so if you are either just getting started or figuring out, like, how to navigate your time in the morning, or trying to decide what to work on, then I have just found that to be extremely helpful. What is my current constraint, and what are the 1 or 2 things that I can do to alleviate that constraint so I can get to the next one? Next, I eat whole foods. And that might sound super simple, but I'm just very careful with what I put into my body. I don't eat a lot of processed foods. I eat a lot of greens. I eat a lot of stuff, naturally made from the earth. And I wasn't always like that. I think, especially in my 20s, I've always ascribed to be healthy. But I don't think I knew exactly what that meant until I've started to just be a lot more conscious and cognizant of what I'm eating. But I get regular nutrition. I make sure to get the nutrition from very good whole food sources. And when I say whole foods, I define whole foods as like, I eat stuff that when I look at the ingredients, there's typically only a few ingredients in them. And those ingredients are like naturally made from the earth somehow, in most cases, or it's like animal protein, right? But I'm not eating a lot of processed food, and I feel really good with the food that I put into my body. And that's something that I think serves my body physically, and I think it's something that serves my brain mentally as well, because when I eat good whole foods, and I do so, and I eat nutrient-dense foods, and I do so regularly and consistently, I think I can just perform mentally better throughout the day. Real quick, as you guys know, I just recently started this podcast. If you could give it a rating with a quick tap of the thumb, that would mean the world to me, and even more importantly, it could help spread the word to a broader audience, which in turn could help change a life. Thank you so much, and let's get back to the show. I regularly move. Every single day, I move. And I think, like, I didn't specifically say I go to the gym every day, and I do go to the gym every day, but I don't think, like, me going to the gym isn't what I think serves me physically and mentally, as much as it's just the fact that I'm moving every single day. And so I think that could look a lot different for a lot of people. I've been through a lot of different phases. I've always really, really enjoyed the gym, or staying active, or some sort of athleticism. I grew up playing sports. I've been through, CrossFit style workout trainings. I've been through bodybuilding style trainings. I've been through high intensity interval training type trainings. And I don't think the specific type of training is as important, but I think what's most important is just to get movement. There's so many different studies and so many different benefits on just moving every day. And so if you're somebody who like you don't enjoy doing something like going to the gym, I think that's fine. Like maybe you don't have to. Just go out and walk. Um, go, get 10,000 steps in. I think something as simple as just getting 10,000 steps in every day can give your body and give your mind the benefit of being and staying active. But I think the fact that I regularly move is something that helps me stay mentally sharp, stay physically sharp. And I know too that like the more physically in shape I'm in, the more I'm just going to be able to have longevity as it relates to business. And so I know it's something that's going to serve me. And in all reality too, when I'm 60, part of something that drives me to move every single day is when I'm 60, I want to play with my grandkids, right? I want to run around. I don't want to have to worry about, having my knee replaced or my hip replaced. Like I want to stay active with my grandkids, and so I'm prioritizing my body now so that I can make sure that I do that. Next, and kind of back on I know I'm going back and forth between focus, my morning routine, eating, movement. And now I'm going to go back to just kind of a tactic that I've employed recently that really helps me stay focused. I very, very easily get distracted. And it's something that's tough for me because the second I become distracted, then I'll go, do something, and then it'll be 5 minutes, and then I have to go get more focused, and I can become distracted again. And that's something that I've noticed was tough for me. And so I did something very simple. I bought a timer off of Amazon, and it's one of those timers that's like 60 minutes at a time. And when you turn it, there's like it's colorful, however many minutes are left. And so it's very easy and visual to see how many minutes are left. And when I'm doing deep work, I'll set that timer for 45 to 60 minutes at a time. And I don't do anything else until that timer goes off, right? And so it's kind of my cue or how I challenge myself to stay focused. As I set that timer, that means I can't check my phone. That means I can't check Instagram. That means I don't check my email. That means like I stay focused on the task until that timer goes off. And it's been kind of a little hack for me because when I don't set that, it's just very easy for me. Like if I find any mode of opportunity to get distracted, I'll just, I'll look at my phone and I'll start responding to people via text messages, or I'll start responding to emails, or I'll look at social media or whatever the case may be. But that little hack of setting a timer and using the visual cue to not allow myself to literally do anything else until that timer goes off has been very, very helpful. And then I think lastly, in terms of a routine, I regularly communicate with people who are doing more than me. And I go out of my way to make sure that happens. But I found a select few people that enjoy talking with me as well. And I get so much mental stimulation, and not just mental stimulation, but ideas and different actions that I can take going forward. We talk about, behaviors that we can implement going forward. But I am regularly talking to people that are doing more than me in business, because I find that it just helps me think on another level. And that's certainly part of a routine that's been very, very helpful. So those are all kind of, I don't know, I guess how I would bucket some routines of mine that have served me. And I was also asked to like, hey, if I'm working full time, how can I do real estate on the side? How can I stay focused? Well, how can I how can I build my side gig while working full time? I want to be very clear. Like I did not build a side gig and then, build the side gig to the point where my W-2 income was replaced and then I left my W-2. What I did do is I built well over 2 years of a runway so that when I left my W-2, I didn't put my family at immediate risk of, drastically changing our lifestyle, or impacting us negatively in some way. If I were to do that all over again, and I were to try to build something on the side while I was at my W-2 with the goal of having my side gigs income replace the W-2 and then leaving, I think the way that I would do that is just be very clear and honest with myself as well as everyone else around me and those important to me, that I'm going to go into a period of sacrifice, and I'm going to wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm going to work on my side gig. I'm going to go to work, and then I'm going to come home, do what I need to do, and then I'm going to work on my side gig more. And the primary thing that I'm going to be working on in that side gig is sales and marketing. Right? I think a lot of people get caught up, especially when they're at W-2, like, oh, I'm interested in doing something on the side, and I need this perfect looking website, and I want the perfect, business name. And then I got to, make sure to set up my LLC and just like, I feel like a lot of people that want to start a business or a side gig, they really procrastinate actually doing anything in their business because it's uncomfortable actually getting and doing the work that's important. And during that time between 5 and 10 a.m., 5 a.m. and whatever time you got to go to work, and then when I get home to when I go to bed, I would work on things that would generate revenue for the business and nothing else. Like, you don't need a perfect website. You don't need to design like this amazing website. All you need is you need people who know about your stuff, and you need a really good product so that when people do choose to give you money for your product or your service, or even if you offer it for free, it's something that you can continue to hone and continue to get better. And I would spend all of my time making sure that that is where my focus is, and generating the revenue. And then once I start to have some consistent revenue, then I can work on stuff like, designing a website, or the thing that just like paying someone to do a logo, for example. Just all those things that I feel like people do before they actually start a business and before they actually, get clients. There's nothing more important when you start a business than getting clients and like having people that pay you. And so all of my time would be intentionally focused on that, and I would do nothing else. So anyways, hope that was helpful. I've had several people ask about, my routine and how I stay focused and whatever the case may be. And so those are the things that have served me. I'm sure you guys all have great ideas as well. And there's probably a lot of things that are serving you. But hopefully that helped to hear a little bit about what's helped me. And thank you guys so much for listening. And until the next one, I'll see you. Peace.